Now we're talking to Dennis Pittensbarger, who just debuted a new show on Discovery Channel, a new series called Highway to Sell. How are you, Dennis?
I'm doing well, Javier. How are you doing?
Great, thank you. I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. So if not, I apologize for that.
It was spectacular. It was perfect.
Excellent, thank you. So, Dennis, you've been around cars pretty much all your life, as I understand, and from watching the first episode last night on Discovery Channel of Highway to Sell, I mean, it really shows. So can you tell us a little bit about your background with cars?
I was just, the story is that my brother-in-law, or to-be brother-in-law, was dating my favorite sister, and Dad had cars, and between that, they kind of, jokingly bought me off to make him like him, and that's, take that with a grain of salt, tongue-in-cheek, and that kind of started the whole thing. And when I was young and in high school, I, started hanging around a body shop, and guy just wanted to check out what he was doing, and ended up, asking him if I could, if he would teach me how to do body and paint, and he handed me a broom. And he wanted to see if I was going to make it to work every day. So after I proved that I would make it to work, I started doing body and paint, and did that for years and years. Along the way, mechanical work came with it. Not anything crazy, but along the way you got to take cars apart and put them back together.
Yeah.
Of course, had a lot of my own cars as well. So it was just kind of started from there, and then fast forward a few years, and it turned into a lot of stuff with media. Kind of being that guy that was in the the local spot for the news that said, hey, don't leave your puppy in the car when it's hot. Make sure and bring chains when it's cold. And that kind of started off stuff in newsprint. Running the newspaper business. That led me to radio, and all of that craziness led me to TV. And I tell you, there's a million stories. I could talk for hours about all the crazy paths and turns, just crazy doors that opened for me along the way.
That's great. I mean, so a true car guy for a new TV show, which was great. As I said, I watched the first episode last night. It was fantastic, very interesting. I really like the whole story, the human interest actually between cars and like the owners, because maybe you can tell us better than I can.
Well, that's probably, there's two parts of the show that are the best parts of the show, in my opinion. Yes, it's a car show about a bunch of guys who build cars. That's been done before. What hasn't been done before is, the first thing I would say that's one of my favorites is really a very personal interaction between the owner. The owner doesn't necessarily, as you can see, have a whole bunch of input into the car, how we're going to build it. We kind of help transform that through what we think is a vision for the car. You saw the episode last night, Slick wanted to paint that Cuda, plum crazy purple. I thought he was kind of crazy, but in the end, the episode is already aired, so yeah, we lost a little money on that car, but we made up for it on the Camaro, knowing we needed to make it, resale red in my vision for the Camaro. So it's that interaction. And then really what I think is the coolest part about the show is letting the owner decide what he wants to do with his share of the partnership with the car. And that's what really, diversifies this show from every other show on any kind of programming is, it lets the owner decide, do they really want to take the car now that it's been refurbished, brought back to life, whatever, cliche you want to put there, when we just made it badass.
Yeah.
And it's their choice to take the money and run or, buy a car at this kind of price. And I appreciate you seeing that in the show because, we had some fun along the way. I really did run in slow motion. I can't believe they put that in the show. I thought we were just goofing off that day. Along the way, we built a couple cool cars for the first episode, and the owners got to interact and make their call on what they wanted to do with the car.
Yeah, in the case of the Camaro, it was the most personal. I mean, the most emotional personally because the guy who owned the car inherited from his father who passed away, and he was like thinking of his father when he was in the process of the bidding. So that was very touching, I think.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't be. Everybody pins me as this big, giant, tough guy, and I'm really not. I'm a big teddy bear, and when they showed, I knew they needed pictures of me and my dad, and I knew how important it was to be close to my dad and close to my brother-in-law as well, in the forming of what is the car guy you're talking to. I knew how important it was for them to, do the right thing with the car in their aspect. They decided to, cut, they couldn't spend anymore. They got their guarantee. The gentleman who bought it got a really cool car. But yeah, that emotional tie to family and cars, because, if you look back on the history of the automobile, the car was a member of the family for so many decades, and yeah. I feel that we are doing a good job of reconnecting with that.
No, absolutely, and to that point, I think most people who have like classic cars like abandoned in their backyards or garages, I mean, they get attached to them, and then sometimes they don't really see the true in terms of finance and terms of money, right? Because they think obviously it's valued more than that probably they can get in an auction, and like what it costs to repair it too. So it's a very a good reality check for that.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's like a good reality check, the whole process of what you're doing on the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to say I'm going to get it done. I'm my own worst victim. I mean, if the funnier interview might have been getting my wife on the phone and, having her go through, the multitude of projects that have come and gone in my life that I say to her, literally, honey, don't worry, I'll get to that one. And she always looks at me and goes, how are you going to finish that when I was working on everybody else's stuff?
Yeah.
That's almost, that's a real part of the show that can even, connect with the quote unquote car guy, and then all the regular guys out there that might think, I always wanted to take on a project, maybe I might be biting out more than I want to chew. So it kind of hits all levels.
Yeah, and now you have a whole country full of old cars to fix, so you're going to be busy for a while, I guess.
I hope I am. Big, giant love for not only Discovery, but, Painless Productions and everyone included, Slick, I could go through the entire cast, T-Bone, Pat, Mike, Raleigh, Dave. I mean, everybody, I couldn't even name it, but Spencer, Tim and Ray, all the people that were involved in the show. It's a group effort. And I hope with a little bit of luck and a little bit of knocking on wood, which I do that, hopefully they'll keep us on the edge until there's no more cars to fix. And I'm a little old gray man that's still on the station fixing cars for people.
That would be great. So, Dennis, tell us a little bit about the process of finding these cars. I guess it's a team of people going out and looking for them, or how the people can get in your show, maybe.
Well, I mean, I know that there will be a way to contact Discovery. I'm sure there's a way to contact. I know they haven't really set that up yet. I believe that they're going to. I'm not quite sure. They would be contacting Discovery as the mission for the cars, I believe. Don't quote me on that because I'm not quite sure. That's a little bit above my pay grade. I'm just a crazy guy who wants to fix the car. But in the essence of the first cars, it was a matter of just searching out cars that were in the area of the shop here in the Palmetto, Bradenton area. Cars that we saw potential with, whether it be online or any other way you can find a used car. And really, we just kind of went out and looked for them like anybody else looking for a project car, and approached these people and said, this is the idea we have. Are you crazy enough to do this and be on TV? And so that's the way a lot of it worked out. So I know in the future, I'm sure there'll be some sort of process. Again, I'm sorry for not having that information, but
excellent.
I'm sure there'll be some sort of process where hopefully we have thousands of submissions, and and we can do every one of them. In a perfect world, that would be the biggest home run of a car guy's career.
Yeah, we're talking to Dennis Pittensbarger from the new series on Discovery Channel, Highway to Sell. And Dennis, we are only we have 1 minute left here on this segment. For people who have their cars there abandoned, and obviously that you won't be able to do all of them, can you give in 1 minute, what's the process of fixing an old car and doing it right? I guess a minute is not enough, but if you can do just an idea of that.
Well, I'm going to be tough. The thing is, be patient. That will be my biggest thing. That would be my overall last of, if you're going to take on a project like this, be patient, think through the process, don't try to do shortcuts. The level of restoration and or a car that you just want to get back on the road can be a very complex a web that you might weave for yourself. So I would say the best thing to do is be very patient and take it step by step, because in the long run, if you try to do it too quick and too fast and not get exactly maybe the motor you want or exactly the seats you want, or maybe, we'll just use that part because it's already there, instead of trying to find the perfect one.
Yeah, and
a little bit of patience in the long run will make that car perfect for you in the end.
And maybe for another segment we'll talk about money, because it's also a very expensive proposition.
Yeah.
So Dennis, is there a Facebook page, some other page than discoverychannel.com where people can look for more about information about the show?
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely go to discovery.com. You can check on the little box there that says Highway to Sell. They have the Facebook page. You just look up Highway to Sell. It's also on Twitter and I believe Instagram again under Highway to Sell. And you want to know more about me, certainly go to carguydennis.com. I'm Car Guy Dennis on all the social media stuff. But definitely for information about the show, you can get information about the upcoming episodes, the cars, the people, the process. Definitely go to discovery.com and check on that little box that says Highway to Sell.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time, Dennis, and good luck in the rest of the season and many years to come.
Yeah, thank you so much. And by the way, I'm glad that you and I are now Facebook friends. So you know where to go to find me, and I'll be watching for your stuff too.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Este programa fue una producción de National Latino Broadcasting.